Hello. It's great to be with you today. I must tell you that I'm so happy about the Bear book coming to China because in 2002, I came to China as a teacher of the English language, with a bunch of other teachers, and we flew into Beijing and then took a train to Datong City, and I was there for about a month with some wonderful, wonderful students. And I just loved your country. I loved your country and I loved those children. I always wanted to be a writer, and I think I became a writer because my father read aloud to me almost every single night in a great big chair. One of my favorite books that he read was this one called Many Moons. It's about a little girl, probably a girl about 9 or 10, and she fell in love with the moon. And every night it went away. And so she decided, she asked her father, she was a princess, she asked her father, the king, to please get her the moon. She wanted to wear it on a necklace, a golden necklace. And how she got the moon is a very interesting story. But what happened was I fell in love with picture books. I not only loved the words, but I loved the pictures. This book had some crazy pictures in it. It really did. They were kind of wobbly. And I loved to draw. And I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful one day if I could be an author and an illustrator? Picture books are very, very skinny, but oftentimes they're big, so you have plenty of room to draw. I didn't become a writer immediately. I went to college and I studied to become a teacher. Even though I wrote poetry all my life and did drawings, I was going to be a teacher. And I married and had children, and it wasn't until my fourth child, my son Peter, went to nursery school that I started learning how to be a writer of children's books. The first book I decided to write was, can you guess? A picture book. A picture book about where I grew up, about the Wisconsin woods. I called it The Goodnight Circle. In the beginning of the book, I say goodnight to the animals that are awake in the daytime, like a box turtle. And then I tell them good night because it's time for them to go to bed. In the middle of the book, the night animals wake up and I say good morning to them. And of course you see, it's another skinny book. I didn't do the pictures for this. The publisher hired an artist to do the paintings. Because I was writing about Wisconsin, I then decided I'd write about my aunt and uncle's farm. And that farm really reminded me a lot of the country around Datong City. Rolling hills and fields, beautiful, beautiful flowers, and everything green, green, green. Now, one of the things that I love the most in all this world is the world. I love, love, love planet Earth. And I decided I would write a book about every biome. So first I wrote about the woods. Then I decided to write about a very different place, the desert. I traveled to the desert in Arizona, which is a state in the United States. And I wrote about a storm that happens and then a beautiful rainbow that comes and all the flowers bloom. So there was the forest and now the desert. Then I wrote about wetlands, another skinny picture book, and a little mole that ducks under the earth and then pops out in a pond. And it's another real circle, actually, from the top of the ground, underneath, and back up. And so that was wetlands. Then I wrote a book called Spots, and this had 10 biomes in it, and not many words at all. I made this my shortest book, and I wrote, it's a poem. Spotted creatures wait for you. Snoop and find them. Count them, too. It's a counting book. and I described animals with what they could do. And I wrote, flapping, looping, cruising spots, one leopard ray. And it goes from 1 to 10. Because I am a poet, the teachers and schools that I appeared asked if I could write a book of poems for children. I said, oh yes, I would love to do that. And luckily, a friend of mine who's an artist said he would do the pictures. So one day I wrote this poem. Great crystal bear, snow-cold bear alone, padding across ice floes, where is your bed? Is it a drift of silver snow in the starry night? Are the light curtains waving in the midnight sky your blankets? Who tucks you in, polar bear? Snow-cold bear alone on the ice, where are your friends? Are they chilly little fishes in the icy sea, leaping just out of reach playing tag, as your mighty pet webbed paws swim you from lunch to dinner? Who listens to your dream wishes? Oh, great and wise-eyed crystal bear, I would like to know your secrets for cold and alone. Well, my editor thought that was just a terrific poem. She said, could you turn that poem into a picture book? What do you think I said? I said, of course, I would love to. And it became a book called Great Polar Bear. And now you will have this book in China in your very own beautiful language. I can't wait to see it. They asked me to illustrate it too. I'd never done that before. But what do you think I said? Of course I would love to do that, I said. I don't think I draw very well, so I wondered if I could do it. And then I realized I've made a lot of beautiful quilts and things with fabric, things that hang in churches. And I cut fabric and pinned it up and then sewed it together. I bet I could do that with paper. So I painted big sheets of paper in all the colors I thought this book might need. The color of ice, the color of a stormy sky, the color of the deep blue water. And then I cut paper, and sometimes I tore it, and I put it together like a big puzzle. And I made each one of what we call the spreads in the book. Each one was so much fun to do and a challenge. I felt like I was a little girl making this book. I had so much fun in my studio. Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to come with me into my studio. I'd like to show you where I work, and I'd like to show you how to make a picture with paper that you paint yourself and cut or tear and assemble into a picture. Come with me.